of being who is all powerful, all knowing, and all perfectly good. So now this argument is able to rate God as God is powerful, God is knowing, God is perfectly, just like we say, God is omnipresent, God is omnipotent, God is omniscient. So they said if a being is powerful, it wants to prevent all evil. If it is all power, okay, if a being is perfect, it wants to prevent all evil. Can we say that being is perfect? If it is all powerful, it can prevent all evil. Can we say that God is powerful? If it is all knowing, no evil escape its notice. Can we say God is all knowing? First, if there were a being that had all three characteristics, this being will eliminate or prevent all evil, but evil exists. Therefore, no being is all powerful, no being is all knowing, and no being is all perfectly good. How did you understand the argument? Class? How did you understand this argument?
Yes.
Yes?
Continue.
It's not a matter of continue. I'm asking you, how did you understand the argument?
We understand like there is no thing is can be full, like full of knowing, full of power, like God. There is nothing like that, like God.
Yes, there is nothing like that. But the philosopher is saying if God is powerful, why is he allowing evil to exist? That is why I said, how did you understand the argument? Is this a philosopher arguing well or he is not arguing well? If he's not arguing well, what did you understand about how he is not arguing well? If it is arguing well, how did you understand it? That is the question I'm asking you. Do you want me to ask you one by one? Now Faria has made an attempt. The next person to her. The next person. How did you understand this argument of Makia? This is the name of the philosopher.
Because God has given all the people free will, so they can do whatever they want. He gives free will. And because of sin.
Who gives free will?
God gives them free will, the human being.
And you said because of sin. So because of sin, he gives them free will? Or what did you say?
But they made that thing the first the Adam. He give him free will, so they do like that thing. So
okay.
I think
I understood what you mean. Now, if the devil or the evil exists, you are now trying to say that we need not to blame God about the existence of the evil. Are we to blame God for that? Yes, anyone from Dauru Tarcha. Anyone from that class? Dauru Tarcha, Dauru Waka, Arbi Minchi. Aha. Dauru Tarcha. Anyone?
Yes, yes.
Yes, can you respond? Tell me, how did you understand that argument of philosopher Mike here? Let me read the argument again for you. This philosopher, we are talking about the argument against the existence of God. And out of that argument under the existence of God, he brought a formula of the logic form of the problem. And under the logic form of the problem, he said, if the existing being who is all powerful, that being that Micah is talking about is God. That if the existing being is all powerful and all knowing and all perfectly, it is the word of these three terminology of omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient are being translated to be powerful, all knowing, and perfectly. If he is like that, now how can be a perfect being prevent all evil? As far as we are talking that evil is a destructive a career. When evil comes to you, he wants to destroy you. He don't want you to exist. He don't want you to anything. Now, how can that being that we know is perfect, but he is still preventing evil? And he secondly stated that if the being is powerful, how can he prevent all evil? And also another statement, he said, if it is all knowing, no evil escape its notice. So if the devil, whatever the devil is doing and is all known before God, why God is allowing the evil to exist? That is why their argument is God does not exist. If really God exists, he can never be a God that the devil is doing very badly and yet he is preventing the devil not to destroy the devil. If the devil is doing badly and he is powerful, why did he not destroy the devil? If he knows all the schemes of the devil, why should he not stop the devil? That is the argument of Micah. And for that argument, they are concluding if God is perfect, God is all powerful, God is all knowing, and he did not prevent all these things, to them means God is not able. That is why I'm asking you, how did you look at this argument? How did you understand? Did you agree? If I ask you a question, to debate or to argue on the argument of Micah that he said God is being, God is powerful, God is knowing, but he believed God doesn't exist, what will you say? It is very simple. This philosopher is arguing by the mere statement you see, he is blaming God. Now, I want you to tell me, is he right of blaming God or he's not right? If he's not right, how did you think the statement would have been? That is the question. I'm waiting for you to answer. Yes.
Yes. I'm not agreeing here. So, first of all, God who powerful, all knowing and perfectly. So, here the philosopher, or here the philosopher says that's not agreed, and that's so. Yeah, God is no all thing. God is create. That's all thing, but He is a creator. He is creator. All thing created by Him. So I'm sorry, I'm not agreeing here.
Have you finished?
Yeah.
You are not agreeing with him?
Yeah.
Anyone? Yes. Matthias Angelo. Matthias. Can you tell us whether you agree with this philosopher? Pastor Afiwak. Yes, tell us, Pastor Afiwak, how did you understand this argument? You know, these are the simple things we find in our society. People are asking, if this God you talk about is powerful, why am I suffering in sickness and poverty? If someone asks you, as a pastor, your member tell you that, Pastor, I am not understanding. You always tell us God is powerful, God is perfect, but I can see the way I am living. How is this God powerful? Yes.
In philosophy, an agreement does not mean quarreling or dispute. Instead, it is structuralized logical process intended to discover the truth and transcend thought reason.
Are we getting what you are saying?
A philosophy argument is a set of statements, one of which the conciliation is intended to be supported by the other the premise.
Yes.
Anyone?
Okay, this argument assumes that if a being were truly all powerful, all knowing, and perfectly good, it would have the ability and knowledge to eliminate all evil. However, since evil exists, this leads to contradiction, implying that such a being cannot exist. This is a classic example of logic argument against the existence of an omnipotent, omniscient, and omnivolent being. So the argument is based on the idea that the existence of evil contradicts the attribute of a perfect being, leads to the conclusion that on the such being can exist. So I think here there is many the philosopher idea. So in here in this argument, anyone says whatever thing. So first of all, I say that I cannot understand. I cannot agree in this philosophy idea. And I said this. Thank you.
It's okay. Any more? Anyone again? Anyone? Arbi Minchi. Where are they? Where are the students from Arba Minchi? Okay. Generally, okay. How I wanted to respond towards this argument here.
By this argument is not agree for us.
The argument is what?
Not agree.
Do you accept the argument? The God we serve, we know it is beyond our imagination. And God is above all whatever we think we can talk about. So anybody who is looking down that God has shortcomings, God does not have shortcomings. From the perspective of this philosopher, or from his argument, that is showing that God is perfect, but is not able to deal with an evil. God's program is different from our program. And the only thing God has told us that if we remain faithful to him, he has his own way of protecting and preventing you from the harm of the evil. But as we heard from the first respondent from the class that said, God gave man a will and also a freedom. But because of our selfishness, because of our desires, because of we love ourselves better, it normally drags us to see that we think God is not able. God is not perfect. God has already said it from the beginning, which we need not to argue about it again. He said, there is an end of everything. There is the beginning and the end of everything. Human being is created. Evil is existing. But time is coming that evil will not exist more again. Time is coming that evil will not continue again. So, why are we saying God is short in his own things? God is not short in his own things. God is able, God is perfect, God is everything. So, generally, as a Christians, that we know our God cannot be limited, this argument, we cannot accept this argument. Even though you will encounter such argument in the society that we are today, but their answer is our God still remain knowing. Our God still remain powerful. Our God still remain perfect. That is the answer you are supposed to give. Our God is not short. Even seeing what the devil is doing, but he's not short. The name behind this argument, as I said, is J.L. Mackie, who said it is a contradictory to confirm that God exists. and is wholly good and omnipotent, and yet to admit that evil exists. To him, a good being will permanently eliminate evil as far as possible. Even if we can, for us, I know humanly, if not an assumption, we can say God's supposed not to create, to allow evil to exist. Due to the tormentation and the frustration and the challenges that we are passing through, yes, we can say that. But yet God remains as God. When you want to see how God will be dealing with the evil, then when Jesus Christ will come back and harvest this world, that is the time that there will be a distance, a difference, a total distance between you and the evil. And the Bible stated that time the evil things will come at the end. And where they will end their life, it is in hellfire. So why do we want, since God has programmed his things, and God is not supposed to be advised, because he's above advice, it is your God that will advise you. So we have to tell people that people should remain faithful, no matter how the challenges, no matter how the difficulties, no matter how the problems, let remain firm, let remain faithful, so that the devil's scheme cannot override us. So as for now, we have to believe evil exists because he is always on your neck all the time. He causes a lot of many things. But yet, when you remain with Christ, everything goes well for you. However, before Jael, Micah, it was Epicurus in 341 to 270 BC, a Greek philosopher who formulated that famous philosophical reason that seriously caused doubt and the possibility of the existence of God. Now, we have heard about what John Micah have said, that God is powerful, God is knowing, God is perfect, but why did he not crush the evil? Why does he allow evil to exist? So to him, it gives doubt on the God we serve, because he is not really a God. If he were really God, he would have not allowed that. Then another Epicurus philosopher that exists, as I said, from 341 to 270 BC, brought his own reasoning of philosophy that cast a lot of doubt and possibility on the existence of God. And do you know, some of the elites, when they read such philosophy, that is why they get confused and they come to believe that what these philosophers are saying, it is the real answer, which is not. He went on with his argument saying, is God willing to prevent evil but not able to do? Then he is omnipotent. And secondly, he went on saying that is God able? If God is able, but he is not willing, then he is malevolent. He also went on saying, if God is both able and willing, once then is evil. You can see the kind of philosophical argument these people are bringing when the ignorance who does not have the Spirit of God, and they come across such argument. That is why they denounce God does not exist. That is why they reject the existence of God. That is why they feel God is masquerading. They feel God is masquerading, not the real God. But that is not the truth. You know, right from the beginning, God has already told us. When we talk of the way this a philosophy, Epicurus argued by saying, then God is omnipotent, which means God is not able. And like the last argument he said, if God is both able and willing, then is evil. As a Christian, we always said our God is able. That is why in Nigeria, I don't know whether you have this chorus, but it's carved from the Bible. He is able, abundantly able to deliver and to save. Christ is able, abundantly able to deliver those who trust in him. Christ is able, abundantly able to deliver and to save. He is able, abundantly able to deliver those who trust in him. We always said our God is able. We can compare this place, the philosophical argument of this place, with the case of Meshach, Shadrach, Abednego, and King Nebuchadnezzar in the book of Daniel, chapter 3, verse 1 to 30 of that chapter, whereby the king made a decree that a god should be created, an image should be formed, and after the image have been formed, everybody in that society, everybody in that city should bow down to the god of to bow down to the god of King Nebuchadnezzar. But because Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego were people of God's heart, people who loves God, and they believe their God is able, they rejected the decree that was being endorsed by the king. And they said, if God will not save them at that moment that they are passing through the tormentation of the king Nebuchadnezzar, but they knew their God is able, he will save them. And also, like what Job said, when Job was passing through a lot of a severe pain, a lot of problem, he said, whenever God brings good things to him, he said, glory be to him. Whenever God brings bad things to him, or anything comes bad to him, he also said, glory be to God. Because he knew his God is able, and he will not leave him to that agony from the beginning to the end. And that is what we need to tell the ignorance about the knowledge of God. That many people are accusing God, that God is not able. Even there are Christians that what they are doing, well, for example, maybe you are sick and you have gone to the hospital, maybe you are operated, the physician have done the examination on you, and you are not getting better. Some people will say, let me go to where I can look at it. You know, sometimes we deviate from the real truth. We go to those who are traditionally, who are diviners, to tell us the problem of ourselves. That shows that we are not trying to see the God we serve is able to see us from the trouble we are. So that makes many people to go back looking for a solution, thinking that they will help themselves. My brothers and sisters, I want to charge you, yes, you will go into a philosophical world, even in your community, even in your what? In your home. You will even find some people who have that attitude, philosophical argument, that if this God is able, if this God is a willing God, why am I suffering? Why am I in problem? Why death has surrounded me? Why agony is in me? Why frustration is in me? Why poverty is in me? Why lack of many things is in me? That is to tell you that if you see a such person asking such questions, it means that person is arguing against the existence of God, the omnipotent, the omnipresence of God. Are we together?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Any question? Now we have discussed about two major philosophers, Machiavelli and Hippocrates, whom they are trying to state their arguments to prove to us that God does not exist. But actually, this argument that we are discussing, this is the real thing we are facing in our contemporary world today. Because many people are doubting God. That see how I am. I am sick almost 10 years. I went to a pastor. A pastor told me, let me fast for 7 days. I have fasted, but the sickness does not go. Am I sure I have God that answers these prayers? Am I sure I have God that deals with this problem? If this God exists somewhere and is watching at me, suffering not for 1 day, not for 2 days, not for 1 week, not for 2 weeks, not for 1 month, not for 2 months, not for 1 year, not for more than 1 year, but still I am suffering. Why should I not doubt that God has no power? Why should I not doubt that God is not perfect? Why should I not doubt that God is not powerful? So, at times problems have dragged many people to argue about the existence of God. Problems have dragged many people to deny the existence of God. Problems have dragged many people to deny that God is powerful. Problems have dragged many people to see that God is not caring. So as a result of that, if you are known as a pastor and God sent you into a community that they have that philosophical perspective of thinking that God is not justice, what will you tell them? What will you tell them? What will you tell them, class? You are posted as a pastor. And a pastor is posted to a place to look for sheep. And those lost sheep are like philosophers. Because anybody who does not agree with God, it is his philosophy that told him. Now you have met such people in the society, in the community. What will you tell them? How will you convince them to believe your God is powerful? Your God is mighty. Your God is perfect. How? Anyone wants to respond?
Yes, let me try. I'm not pastor.
Yes, try.
Yes, there is pain and suffering in the world, and when God not allow that pain and suffering, and human being they choose. So and then even God he did something, and he give us a medicine, and he give us his only son Jesus Christ. So if the person deny to take the medicine, if the person deny to take that God sent him, that maybe his problem, but the one who take that, the one who follows Savior, Jesus, God, he made a promise, and that he's saying, first one look or search the kingdom of God, and all will be done. I don't remember that verse, but God promised us, and He gives us Jesus. I think so. I finished.
Please read again the question.
Sorry. I muted myself. I didn't know. Sorry. Sorry. The other person was asking, what is the question? I am saying the question is that you are a pastor and you went to the community. People are crying, saying, this God that you are telling us is not giving us what is expected. We are feeling hungry and God is not seeing us. We are into this, God is not giving us. So for that, we don't believe God exists. And now you are a pastor. What will you tell them if people are crying? Mule. I saw Mule in the class. Where is Mule?
No.
Mule. Yes, I'm waiting for you. You are a pastor, and you know people are complaining. You know, your aim is to go and redeem people back to Christ. And you go to the villages and to the city, they are complaining about their problems. That is the reason why they are not serving God. You know, that shows like they didn't believe God exists. Because if God will say his problem overpower him, it means he has a denial of God. Then if you find such people, what will be your response as a pastor?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I will respond to this challenge depending on one's philosophical or theological position. First, I give for that person or that's anyone ask me theological and theological response. Free will defends. So one common response is not God allows evil because he values free will. Women are free to choose God or evil, and this freedom is a greater good than a world without evil. So God could prevent evil, but he chooses not to because he values human freedom and moral responsibility. Under this, I gives for that person gives an answer to the second one. Saul making theodicy, sacrificial theodicy. This gives few. I think for that person answer. The second philosophical response is for that question. The problem of evil is a logical contradiction. Some philosophers argue that the existence of evil is not a contradiction, but rather a complex issue that requires a deeper understanding of the nature of God, the world, and human experience. The problem of evil is not a logical contradiction, but theological and philosophical fusion. Thus, I think from any, that's a few answer for that question. The third, scientific and existential responses. Evil is a nature. Some argue that evil is not a moral or spiritual concept, but a natural phenomenon that arises from the complexity of the universe. It is not a moral feeling, but by product of a nature order. So I will give this for anyone if I can faster anyone. So for that question, I will give, I think, this answer. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your contribution. Anyone more?
Okay, Jeff.
Yes.
God is not evil, but he does not know it. Because God creates all creation and gave it free will. Therefore, people are led to evil by their own will, but God is not evil or unable to destroy evil. He is the creator of all. My opinion. This is my opinion.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Let me kindly give you a break. You can just go for break time. 15 minutes.
Okay. Anyone?
Now we have already responded to those arguments. The problem here is it assumption that a good being will prevent every evil. It can be under any circumstances. It seems clear, however, that there are circumstances in which even a perfect being will allow some evil, particularly in the case where allowing those evil is necessary to bring about certain outweighing goods or prevent outweighing evils. Thus, at base, the logical problem of evil shows us that if God exists, the only evil that exists evil for which there is some good reason. Are we getting?
Yes.
This argument is trying to prove that if the evil is existing, it means God is behind evil. It means God support evils. That is what those writers are saying. If God does not support evil, the evil would have not been existing. So if God is perfect, he is supposed to remain perfect without any being disturbing him. Now he accommodated the evil, disturbing what he has made it and said it is good. So they feel like God is behind what the devil is doing and is supporting him, which we cannot agree with such arguments. Let's talk about the evidential form because we'll be stopping at 10:15. let's talk about the evidential form of the problem of evil. This form holds that the existence of the amount and types of evil in the world makes it very unlikely that there is an all-knowing, there is an all-powerful and perfect divine being. The amount and the types of evil in the world constitute powerful and outstanding arguments against God existence as propaganda by the holistic religions. Atheists argue that the reality of evil is more pronounced than the reality of God existence. So this one they are saying why the evil is so much pronounced, is so much announced, is so much powerful that it can go to the extent of destroying what God had made. Let's go back to the history again of the creation of this world. When man was created, everything was perfect. Everything was okay. But after the creation, when the devil invents in the creation, he destroyed the creation God made. He destroyed the creation God made. And what God made it to be good, what made it to be good he made it to be, he destabilized it and he brought it to be bad. Adam was so perfectly, the relationship of Adam and the environment was very good. But when the devil came and attacked Adam, that is where the destruction came. Adam became enemy with God. Adam became enemy with the existence of the world. So there was no any a taste of good thing again between Adam and God and also the earth. So now, with such things that the devil is destroying, the philosophers are saying what this God is doing by allowing the devil to do such things, it became a problem to them. Because God does not want things to happen like that. So, they said, the atheistic argue that the reality of evil is more pronounced than the reality of God existing. And when we talk of atheists, the atheists atheistic people are the ones who are denying the existence of God. And they're the ones also coming out saying why to them the evil is more pronounced than the reality good God that exists. So the question of evil that has defied all attempts to provide an answer throughout human history is how are the theistic to understand the reason for the existence of evil and suffering in the face of the existence of God, who to them is attributed to be a being than which nothing greater can be taught. The question that crops up is, should God's greatness not do something towards eradicating evil? Or again, why does God allow evil in the world? The evil which is universal, affecting both believers and non-believers equally. Now, this philosophical argument is saying, if you carefully understand the philosopher in their argument here, they are saying if this God is good and God exists, he would have even protected the ones that belongs to him. But the suffering of evil that people are encountering, people are passing through, no one is exceptional. Either believer or no believer, we are all equal, mistreated by the evil. Then, how can you say God exists? These are the theistic arguments. The people who said God does not exist. The people who said God is very selfish. He has made his people in the world and he has allowed the people to suffer. You know, by the virtues of that explanation, to those who are ignorant and who do not understand, actually, it will be a problem to them. So, my beloved brothers, this is the society that we are passing through. We are passing through a society of philosophical perspective. And there are some people, when you see them talking, you think they have gone to school. But because of the philosophy and the ignorance they have, they argue that God does not exist. And that is why we can see the reason, the important being a pastor to go to theological institution to learn the spiritual aspect of the philosophy, so that you can counter those who are arguing about God does not exist. Someone will say, I am going to theological institution. What am I going to study there? I am going to study the Bible. No. You will study the Bible plus other subjects that the current socio-political matters are going into. So you are doing a philosophy at the appointed, at the right time, because someone will say, I am tired with this God that you are talking about. Some of you even said, Jesus is coming soon. But that word was there even before my grandparents were being given birth. But now we have not seen him. And they can tell you that you are a liar. If God tells you that I'm coming soon and he didn't come, you are a liar. Then if you gain the philosophical knowledge of the biblical perspective, you will be able to confront them from the Bible side. Just like Apostle Paul, when he became an evangelist, when he became a pastor, apostle who was reaching out the gospel, and it happened he went to Athens, people who are worshiping the unknown God, people who are very philosophical, knowledgeable. But you see, because he has also equipped himself with the philosophy that is connected with the spirituality, he was able to confront them, he was able to defeat them, he was able to contextualize the gospel, and they accepted it. So it is good and marvelous to see that you also study psychology, because of the people who will raise many questions that don't disturb us about this God that you serve. Any comments? Any comments or question?
No. We continue.
No.
Are you getting it? Are you getting it well? Now, I am going to stop there, but let me go back and ask you a question from where I have said, because I want you to understand well. We talk about how many philosophers today? How many philosophers did we discuss about them? If you are understanding, let me go back for revision. How many philosophers have we discussed about them today? Yes, I'm waiting for the answer. How many philosophers? Huh? I am asking how many philosophers did we discuss?
It is
How many?
I think three.
Yeah, someone is saying two, someone is saying three. Yes, you don't need to say you think.
Okay.
You have to say we have discussed three. Under the Lord, under who are the philosophers we discuss about them? Huh?
Logica.
Yes. A logical is not a philosopher. Logical is a formula, but it's not a philosopher. A philosopher is a person. Talking about person,
Yes,
what are the key people we talk about them today?
Three.
I
Yes.
think you can say two philosophers.
Yes, we say two.
Yes.
I'm talking about the two figure people we talk about them.
Plato and Aristotle.
Are you just we talk about who? Today I didn't mention Plato. I didn't mention Aristotle. I didn't mention Thomas Aquinas today. Did I mention these philosophers today?
Okay.
Good. Mackay. Uh-huh. Mackay is right. But telling me Thomas Aquinas, Aristotle, and Plato, I did not talk about them today.
Yes.
So I want you to tell me the key philosophers. We talk about Mackay, Epicurus, or did we not talk about such people like that? Is Mackay is the one who talk about God is powerful, God is knowing, God is perfect.
Yes.
But Epicurus also had his own saying, God is able, God is willing. You can see every philosopher has his way of reasoning and have his own terminologies that he uses. So if I said, can you explain about the argument of Micah? Then you come and you are explain that God is willing, God is able. You know, you have taken the argument of Epicurus and you have given to Mike here. If I ask, explain the argument of Epicurus, and you are telling me Epicurus said God is perfect, God is powerful, God is
God is mighty.
God is powerful, God is perfect, God is knowing. If you tell me this is the philosophy carved by Epicurus, you have done nothing, because that is not the argument of Epicurus. Sometimes when you are reading about arguments, you must have to identify the distinct thing that every philosopher is arguing on it. And lastly, I also talk about theistic argument. You know, these are the people under theistic. I discuss it under the evidential form of the problem of evil. These people said to them, the same evil is more pronounced, is more popular than God. When I look at this argument, sometimes I compare, say, could be from another way. When we want to compare it with the inheritance of going to heaven, you know, the Bible says only few will get a place, but the majority will go to hell. Now, when you look at that point of that argument, you will agree with this theistic argument saying that it means the hell is more popular than heaven. So he is saying God has so much allowed the evil to be more popular. So if the evil is more popular, is more pronounced, to the theistic arguments, philosophers, they said it is not right. And they conclude that God does not exist. Are we together?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't want to give you much argument. What you have acquired now, you go and read it, you digest. Have I this note? Do you have this note?
Yes.
Yes.
Read it and understand the key differences in the argument. Don't just read it like you are reading a magazine. Even the Bible, as pastors, when you are reading the Bible, if you don't concentrate on the key thing that is written in the text, even if question is being said for you, you will not pass it because you read it like a newspaper and it goes. So read the notes and look at the key. Where is this philosophers coming with their own arguments? You look at from that perspective, then you can argue well. I think we have come to the end of our today's class. Do you have any presentation concerning philosophy?
Yes, yes.
You have a presentation that I've given you.
Yes.
Yes,
Now, and next week you are going for break. Is that not so? Are you going for next week break? Next week, are you going for break for 2 weeks?
Yeah.
2 weeks is the break.
Eh?
2 weeks the break. The next week.
Okay. Now, okay, maybe we have sociology later. What time do we have sociology in the evening? What time? Can you tell me the time we have sociology later? I want to.
1 o'clock up to the 10.
Eh?
1 o'clock up to the 10, I think.
No. The time that we have sociology, what time? You don't know the timetable that you are coming back in the evening for me?
1 o'clock up to 4.
1, is it?
4 p.m.
Or 4 p.m.?
1 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Yeah.
1 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So maintain that time 1 p.m. because I don't want them to bring it at 4 or 5. I have been I pleaded with the university to teach some students in Rwanda from 6:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. in the night. So it is okay. We meet at 1 p.m. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, my brother Daniel.
Yes, yes.
How are you? How are you?